is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution.
Joining me now is my political panel, Juanita Tolliver, a Democratic strategist, and Susan Del Percio, a Republican strategist. Susan, first to you. Trump reacted to Friday's Supreme Court decision the same way he's dealt with past legal setbacks, from the Stormy Daniels affair to Trump University, by whining and attacking the judges. Will this behavior pass dealing with the highest court of the land? Will this pass with them?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm just reminded of the old saying, you never pick a fight with someone who buys ink by the barrel. So if you fast forward it to 2026, it's why would he pick this fight with the Supreme Court when there's so many other cases in front of it? And frankly, I think it gives the Supreme Court now more freedom to feel less beholden to Donald Trump, because this is upsetting. This upsets all 9 of them. No one likes to see the president do this. Frankly, I'd like to see all 9 decide not to go to the State of the Union on Tuesday.
Juanita, nearly 2/3 of Americans say they disapprove of Trump's tariffs, according to a new ABC poll, Washington Post, and Ipsos poll. If Trump continues to fight the Supreme Court on their decision, how well is that going to play with voters who weren't fond of the policy in the first place?
It's only going to get worse and worse, and not just for Donald Trump, but also Republicans. And Rev, the 3 numbers from that poll that jumped out at me were the fact that 72% of independents, 23% of Republicans, and 59% of people without college degrees do not like Donald Trump's moves with tariffs. And of course, in this position where he's now doubling down and potentially creating a scenario where congressional Republicans have to either support him publicly or reject him publicly, that's absolutely going to be a defining line when affordability and costs are going to be central to the midterm elections come November. This is going to be the sustained conversation, because when, as you mentioned, he rolled out that 15% tariff, but that will expire in 150 days unless Congress weighs in. And so now that sets up another battle for Trump and Republicans to face against voters and tariffs in 150 days.
Juanita, sticking with you, Maryland Governor Wes Moore spoke at the annual National Governors Association today after he ended up meeting Trump at the White House yesterday, along with several other state governors, despite previously being uninvited by Trump, who said he was, quote, not worthy of attending, end of quote. Mind you, Governor Moore is the vice chair of the National Governors Association. Take a listen to some of what he said yesterday after the governor's White House meeting.
I'm here to focus on the people of my state. I am not going to spend a second talking about a petty attack that the President of the United States had.
Juanita, what is your reaction to what Governor Moore said?
What I respect most about Maryland Governor Wes Moore is that he has been focused on the facts from the moment this story became a story. He was focused on the fact that he was uninvited by the White House. He mentioned the fact that he is the sole Black governor in the country right now. And before he even walked into the White House for that breakfast with the other governors in the association, he said, this is about business and I will not be party to any political mess. And he didn't. He went into the White House. He talked about the issues of the people, whether that's energy prices, affordable housing, and other issues facing the people of Maryland and this country broadly.